Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission to order.
All right.
We have a quorum. First order of business are to review the minutes of December 5th. We did not have a January meeting, so we're looking at the minutes from our December meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I motion that we accept them.
You have a second?
I'll second.
Are there any discussion, correction? Any objection to unanimously accepting the minutes? Accepted as read. We'll move right along to our Parks report.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Been a lot. I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be a lot going on this time of year, but there's a lot going on.
Playing in the mud, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yep. Building maintenance. This kind of time of year we do a lot of building maintenance stuff, especially up here. We're still trying to get equipment commissioned, HVAC system and stuff like that. Getting closer. Did a generator test up here also. We kind of wanted to know what does it actually serve in the building, which isn't a lot, and how things would respond bouncing back after that shut down. So we had a couple of issues coming back online, but I think they've worked through most of those. Equipment maintenance, that's also another big one. We spent all winter going over all of our spring, summer equipment. We're getting close. Of course, we've had some snow and ice removal this past month. Last night for one, and this morning. That was very slippery.
Yes.
Yeah, we just to give you kind of a base of what we do. Public works is our public safety is our priority. We try to keep that open, as well as City Hall and the community center. And when school's in session, of course, we have a lot of stuff around the school and access to the school that will make sure it's clear before kids go to school. Clear approximately 24 miles of trails after we get done all that, and then we go out and start taking care of trails and about 6 miles of sidewalks. Staff attended forklift recertification training on January 15th. It's at all toppers in Cedar Rapids. Got to be certified on that stuff to use them. I've met with Shive Hattery a few times this past month. This building here, City Hall, the HVAC and control issues. So that was one meeting, and then also met with Josiah Bill Skimper with Shive Hattery and Ryan Rusnick from City here regarding the trail CIP priority list. We met prior to our CIP budget meeting with council.
So what are the trail what's going to happen this year on the trails?
Well, this is all contingent if it gets approved, but so far so good. So I can list off the projects that are on the list to be approved. So Penn Meadows, the tennis and pickleball court LED lighting upgrade. That's one. That will feature a on-demand button, so users can actually just, at each gate, they can just push a button and it turns them on. However, we can still program it to where they don't turn on at certain times of the year. You wouldn't want them turning on this time of year, so.
How long does it stay on?
However we program it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it tell them when it's going to shut off, or is there?
Yeah, there'll be a warning beacon, I think.
Got it.
Yep. Cool. Quail Ridge Park is going to, if approved, I have to keep saying that. If approved, it's going to get a pretty big makeover next year, or this next fiscal year. The ball field that's out there currently does not have an outfield fence, so we're going to put an outfield fence in. New expansion on the parking lot. Playground out there, we're going to change that over to, since that's a destination park, we're going to switch that over to rubber surfacing and like a concrete border around it, and interior walking trails. So that's what.
Oh, at the park.
Yeah.
What about the basketball court?
What do you want done with the basketball court?
I don't know. That's been brought or asked something before. You know, it's pretty lumpy or something.
Yeah.
Is it going to go, or is it going to get smoothed out?
Well, let's put that on the back burner. Let's get all these done first. But yes, that's been there a long time. I remember putting that in way back when. And then trail stuff. Forever Green Road, that would be from Jones Boulevard to the new hospital. There's a section there that's not that's missing. And since the food pantry is going in, we thought this should be a priority. It's in front of the Rancho House on Penn Street. So there's a section trail. It's trail on either side of it, but it's sidewalk in the frontage there. So that would get changed over to trail. Fox Valley Pond is kind of we're decommissioning a lift station there. So while they are doing that, we've had some trail issues there next to it where the drainage just sheets across it, and it's slimy in the summertime. And it's icy in the wintertime. So we're going to do some grade changing there and upgrade the trail at that time to make those improvements. And then, let's see, is there one? Oh, North Liberty Road, heading out from going east on past Penn Meadows Park. That's still in the works of getting planned to be done too. So quite a bit of projects that might be coming up here if so approved.
And Freedom Park?
Yeah, oh yeah, Freedom Park has been approved. It's in design, went out to bid already. So that's gonna be another summer project for Freedom.
Thanks. Interrupted you, but that's a
Yeah, no problem.
lot of
Yeah.
good info there.
Great.
Yep. All right. Tree and Stormwater Advisory Board, we met on January 8th. We did not have a quorum, so it's just an informational meeting. And of course, this time of year, I work on employee and performance reviews as time permits. I need to get going on that. I'm a little behind. Liberty Center Pond. So we hired Neutral and Sun Excavating to come in and dredge that north point. It went perfect. The weather's perfect. It was kind of a joint what do I call it?
Partnership.
Project. The joint project. They did all the digging out, and the Parks Department did all the trucking. So we hauled out 233 dump truck loads of dirt. We took that out to the ravine at the dog park, which in turn will give us extra land eventually for Redfern Dog Park expansion. Since then, we've plugged the outflow on Liberty Center. It's gone up to the lower plug. It's at that level. Country Landscape, they're supposed to be back in any time now to finish up all the outcropping work around the pond. So hopefully, I'm hoping by the end of March, they have all that outcropping stone placed back in. They're putting riprap around the whole parameter too to kind of protect that. And then we can plug that upper outlet and bring it back up to the proper level. But so far, I'm very pleased how that project turned out. It needed it really bad.
Can you remind us what the time frame is of needing that? How often does that need dredged and cleaned out like that?
You know, it went in 2006.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm hoping that it's not going to be as bad because we've had all this development around it over the years.
Right.
You know, like Field Day and all those. And then before we had curb and gutter on Penn Street, water would just flow down that and bring corn stalks and mud down the street, and it'd flow right over into Liberty Center Pond. So it's had a lot of siltation over the years because of that, but a lot of improvements have been made since then. And like I say, a lot of development is done. So hopefully,
So was there a noticeable difference in the depth then?
Oh, yeah.
Like what? Do you have any idea what the difference was? I'm just kind of curious.
oh, I mean, we took out probably 4 or 5 feet.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yep, in that point.
That's crazy. Huh.
Yeah.
I think about how much stuff that collects. But then again, every time, it's Tuesday, there's, recycled bins blown over. So, that's how, you can see how it can happen. So,
Yeah. But I'm very happy that we were able to do that, and we got it done very reasonable.
Do we have to worry about that with any other city ponds?
Yes, we would.
It's always
When it becomes a problem, and then we'll try to work that into the stormwater budget, see about getting something dredged. But that one just happened to be one of the worst ones, and it's one of our focal points in North Liberty too. So.
Another question for you. Do you want to wait or do you stay
No,
with
go
this
ahead.
pond? So I was working with our pond in our HOA. So I was working with a pond guy, and we were trying to build some habitat for fish. So since that's been cleared out, is that something that do you want to put stuff back in their trees or shrubbery or whatever for fish to be able to give them a hiding spot and spawn, or what does that look like?
Well, we just had a Eagle Scout project a couple years ago that on the more southern side down by the pier, you can actually see them sticking out of the water right now because the water's low.
Okay.
But they built the PVC fish habitat.
Got it.
Those are the best because they're deteriorate.
Permanent-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would suggest that if you want to do that, you might be able to get. I have an Eagle Scout that just contacted me. You might wanting an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
I know that other people will throw Christmas trees in there,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
we've done that.
And that helps give them little fish place to hide. And
Yeah.
that
You're
kind
only
of
get about
stuff.
3 years, 3 or 4 years out of that.
Right. Right. So just something I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's cleared
Well, if
up
you want to
there.
talk more about that, I'd be more than happy to.
Cool.
I met with city administration to discuss the parks operating budget and the 5-year capital improvements plan in preparation of 25-26 fiscal year. Had the first meeting was regarding the our operating budget, and then I had to come back because I had so many things in the CIP. I had to come back for the second meeting following week for the CIP. 2 things that are in the operating budget, if approved, I'll be getting we will be getting another employee that will work with us. And then secondly, we are working on another position that would kind of oversee facilities management, which we do as far as like HVAC and mechanical stuff like that. It's just the mechanical stuff, since we have this building and police station and rec center is the one that we've always had just to worry about that one, but it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's hard for our department to oversee parks and all the physical
Say
maintenance.
that's stretching parks and
Yeah, I
It
was
is.
just gonna
Yeah,
say.
it is.
Parks Commission, yeah.
So if approved,
We throw our houses in there too.
we always say we're jack of all trades, master of none. So
Know who to call, right?
Yeah,
Know who to
yeah.
call.
I think it is interesting, I suppose, with North Liberty evolving and the population,
Yes.
a lot of things, you're connected with the streets,
yeah,
you're connected with
Right.
buildings.
Roundabouts and all the.
Probably time to start to
Yeah.
divvying that up.
which that's what I really loved about working here is being all of us, all of our departments work so well together,
Yeah,
and this has been great.
and it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being serious. You can tell that everybody works well together, and you can see it. And it, we've had lots and lots of people comment on how beautiful things are and how great and progressive. And, I mean, it shows.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Guy, will that position be under you or in your department?
Yeah,
then?
to be under my
Okay.
supervision. So
So it could evolve.
yeah, eventually it
down
could
the
evolve.
road or-
down the road it could evolve. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Park staff assisted the communications department with fire and ice. We were kind of the fire watchdogs there, the fire campfires. So, and we helped set up the week prior or the week of getting things ready.
And it was fantastic. Did you guys go? Did you go to the fire night?
I
It
was
was
planning to
really
go.
good. My grandkids, I've got
Yeah.
great grandkids. I mean, it was really nice.
I hear it was the biggest showing yet. So
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
It was
it was
really
big showing,
crowded
yeah.
when we were there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And very diverse winter activity,
Yeah.
everything that was there. There
Yeah.
was a lot of
I saw
different,
people
different
posting
things going
pictures
on.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
I had a
it was
sick
great.
child, so I unfortunately
Yeah.
had to
On our-
cancel my plan.
I was the sick child, so I wasn't able to go.
I was feel so bad missing it.
They
Yeah.
set up the synthetic ice rink on a brand new basketball court.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just kind of worked out. So finally, we continue to work with Kirkwood Parks and Natural Resource Program. We're just trying to find employees. We hope to secure potential seasonal employees and or internships with their students during the upcoming spring summer season. We submitted the seasonal park workers job opportunity with colleges: Iowa State, Mount Mercy, Cornell College, and Kirkwood. Tim's the one that did that. Did I miss any?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's also on the City of North Liberty website. So we're currently taking applications for spring work.
Remind me, are the internships paid?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, everything's paid.
you have any coming back from last?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to send out an email and just get them thinking about it.
Because how many do you usually have? How many people do you?
It varies. Sometimes I get 3, sometimes I might get 4, but sometimes I get 0 coming back. It's really nice getting those second, third year employees come back. They know the system, and yeah, and really, actually, you can send those out with other new seasonals, and they can, lead them.
Yeah.
So
Did you put it on the Iowa Parks and Rec?
I don't think we did.
yeah,
That might
That might be
be
another one. I know
Yeah.
Brian has our rec intern
That might be a good
position
spot, too.
on there.
Well, other than that, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
The new building, the next stage building in Centennial Park, it looks good.
Good.
Yeah. Do you know when it will be like finishing? Looks like almost finishing.
No, it has ways to go. So,
Yeah.
Shell frames up.
another
Will it
year,
be ready to be used this coming summer, right?
following summer,
Or the following, the next summer?
2026.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think they're
Spring.
taking reservations starting in
Yeah.
December of next year. Is that right?
2026. Yeah, I believe so.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, they're having, the Blues Fest though is 2026, right?
Right.
Yes.
But 2025 is coming up on.
No.
Does not.
No.
Can't,
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, it's next year that
Yep.
we're gonna have it there, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how. Yeah. We'll see how
Right?
far along they are with the building, but
Right.
we still have it. Probably still have it. So.
You're going to have a lot of ground to smooth out and turf and grass and
I just looked the other way, so when I drive by.
go by there. But that's progress. That's
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah, price progress.
Just drive through. I was talking to.
Guy, when will
somebody
you be
other day
doing the
that had been in
quail
North
field?
Liberty for 10 years, and they drove Penn. They thought they were in a different place.
Yeah.
Right. It looks really good.
Sorry, Brian.
When will you be doing the quail field work?
The outfield fence, that's outside of Shive Hattery, so I'll probably get that scheduled sometime this summer, which wouldn't really affect any kind of usage.
Okay.
So some of these other ones will be design plans, probably like the parking lot,
Got it.
and the trail within. The pour in place rubber on the playground, we'll just take care of that one ourselves, go out for bid and get that done, so.
Brian, do you guys use that for the ball games?
We use it we rent it, yes. We rent that field in Kosher.
Okay.
Is that rented to every minute like the other ones are? Like
Pretty much.
immediately? Yeah.
We have a field lottery now it's 2 Wednesdays away, so.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you call Quail Creek a destination park. What parks in North Liberty do we consider destination parks?
Park that has a parking lot that which you can, go to. So, Penn Meadows, Centennial. For example, one that would not be, it would be Deerfield because there's no place. That's a neighborhood park. So right now I'm just concentrating on a place where people can, from the whole town
Yep,
can come,
can go.
park and use the equipment.
And bathrooms.
And restrooms, yes.
Restrooms, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, that area there.
Now, Fox Run did get the rubber surfacing, but that's because it was a brand new playground equipment. We put brand new equipment in, it's just gonna get the rubber regardless. So we've
And
had,
it's so much nicer. When you use the one at Penn Meadows, it's a whole different. Even at Fire and Ice, it was just really nice. They
Yeah.
could actually use it,
what's really gonna be nice is the splash pad, not getting all the wood chips in it,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
getting drug into it.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Everything keeps going.
Cool.
Anything else? Thanks a lot, Guy. Keep up the good work.
You bet.
All right, Shelley, now we'll move along. to
Good
breakfast.
evening. Actually, January brings, I think, a lot of things inside for us instead of outside for Guy. But with New Year's resolutions, we do see an increase upstairs on the track use, et cetera. So a lot of people are taking advantage of our facility during this time of year. Large programs such as Supreme Basketball started up this month. And just to give you an idea, that has, well, with all our league sports, we had about 220 in our or actually no, more than that. 659 was the total for the Supreme Basketball Leagues. And that's the big one Brian does this time of year. And uses about every facility we can get.
Every hoop.
And it is a cooperative program with
Yeah.
Corville and Tiffin.
Yeah, so we have first and second grade here at the rec center on Saturdays. Third and fourth grades all in Tiffin at two different elementaries. And then fifth and sixth grade. So the fifth and sixth grade girls are at Coralville Rec Center. Fifth and sixth grade boys are Van Allen. So, and we share that with Coralville and Tiffin.
I already mentioned the Fire and Ice took place this month. That was a huge community event, and yeah, from what I hear with the weather, along with everything, just worked out pretty well for that event, and huge turnout. As Guy mentioned too, worked on budget work, continued with meetings with City Council. I guess I can hit up a couple points, like Guy mentioned on operational wise, the only change that we hopefully have approved is one of our permanent part-time positions, the aquatics coordinator position that works under Ashley. We're having that go from permanent part-time to full-time come July 1st. So that will help Ashley cover a lot of things that she has been doing as the sole full-time staff in aquatics, which is our largest definitely department, especially during the summer months. So also with potentially of splash pad helping out with that and stuff in the future is why we're making that move. So that was part of the operational budget. Under capital projects for next fiscal year, east and west parking lots at the community center. That includes the parking lots plus sidewalk / trail connections to the facility. Outdoor pool wall. We have a couple cracks that Guy and his staff have helped patch for about 4 or 5 years now, I think it is.
At least.
Something like that.
Bondo out. And
They've done a great job, but it's time we need to get professionals in there and make sure everything's not only the one crack area, but look at all of them and just make sure we're structurally doing good. So we have outdoor pool wall work, and then in the indoor pool, we have the acoustical panels throughout that facility to be hopefully put back in. We have estimates and stuff. We were looking at, we didn't want them to go over top the water surface because they fell down, and there's maybe a handful left still hanging from the ceiling.
So you swim at your own risk. That's what we're saying.
be looking up.
So we were hesitant to put him back up there, and we were trying to think if they're between the walls and just above the deck surface, would that be enough to provide? But after doing a sound study in there, again, because of the area of the pool surface, the water surface, that is also directly above on the ceiling, the best use of the panels would be to put them back up there, just making sure they're put up with better, what do you want to call them?
Material.
Better process of putting them up, so they don't, the eyelets started to fail and then they would drop from the cable. So somehow make sure either those eyelets or some other type of product is put
Is it
up.
because the materials in the pool, the chlorine? Is that?
I mean, the environment
Okay.
is what causes it to
All right.
deteriorate, but again, there should be something that hopefully we won't have to do it. I guess, though it has been 20
years.
plus years. So again, it's just those non-fun things that we're starting to encounter that need to be replaced and wish they would last longer, I guess. So those are the three big items in regards to the rec center that are on the capital projects for next fiscal year. Going down through report, It's just general information that I normally provide. A couple key things. I always talk about the aquatic classes. You can see there, for the month, we had about 66 registered participants, plus those that would just pay the drop-in fee if there was room. So those continue to be popular. January did bring the first winter-spring session of swim lessons. We had 271 participants for swim lessons.
Does that seem high?
No,
high?
that's pretty average.
Pretty average?
Every session, yeah. I already mentioned the 659 for Supreme League is a big one. Tippy Toes Dance is a contract program we have, and we're up to about 72 dancers for this session of dance classes. Jonathan created a new program, Kids Adaptive Superhero Class, and that he's been working with a outside contract person to help with offering those adaptive type programs, and so I hope to see more coming up. But that was the first one that we started.
What is this class about?
What
What
was
is
that?
this new, the Kids Adaptive Superhero class?
For people with disabilities.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So like, like they have to adapt maybe I'm assuming, is that?
Yeah, kind of like the play is adapted to the participants' level, and
You see what I'm
it's
saying?
basically that particular one is superhero themed
Cool.
type activity. Yeah. Let's see, what else did I have? We did have a couple classes, a movement class and a walk with ease class that we are having held at our facility, but it's put on by Iowa City Senior Center. And we had 18 and 19 in those respective classes. So hopefully that partnership will continue as well, and we'll continue to offer those types of classes. And really the rest of the report is my general information I usually include, so I'm open to any questions.
I had a question about the daily fees. So you put in here that they have to be separated out in 2 different budgets?
Yes, right now we have basically the rec fees and pool fees. So pool daily fees and then the rec daily fees. Pool fees pretty much are going into the indoor pool or outdoor pool during the summer when they're just paying the daily fee. That goes in the aquatics budget. Everything
Oh, I
using
see.
the track, using the
Okay,
gymnasiums, using the weight and exercise area, those fees go into the rec
okay.
department.
I didn't know, I was on a whole different track.
Did I clear?
Yep.
Clear it up? All right.
Hey, a couple more things. We had a couple more duck socks installed, but we had the pool closed for other reasons. So they came in and actually got 2 duck socks put up when we had the pool closed. So we kind of did 2 things at one time there. Like I said, the ball field lottery for the field for kosher and quail is February 19th. It was supposed to be next Wednesday, but Coralville canceled theirs yesterday. So we moved ours, so we're not on the same date and this and that. So also today we received a new BASP van. We got that in today. So we got a new one, replaced a 2008 that we've had for quite a long time. And I think I actually saw it came from Cooley Auto, so we must have bought it used, which I didn't realize that, but that's what the title says. So, so that was interesting. So we got a new one there. So yeah. So, and then also we are looking for interns as well this summer, and I've had actually a couple people apply already. So that's always a good sign this early. And so is everybody else in the state of Iowa. It seems like they're all on the IPRA side anyway. So yeah, and if you need help doing that or give me the information, I can put that on there too. So
We should.
yeah.
Good spot for it.
You want to explain the lottery system a little more about
Yep.
how that actually
Yep.
works so people know
Yeah.
exactly?
So ours is a little smaller than Coralville's because Coralville has 5 fields that they have actually 5, 6, 7. They have quite a few more fields than us. They have Creekside, and then they have the U Sports Park. Plus, they have a couple fields right by their rec center. So they do it, and they have about 80 teams go to their lottery, and then we have about 40. So that's why I do it after them, because then all the teams go to them, get all their fields, come to us, and some teams will stay longer than others for ours. So we usually start about 6 o'clock. There's usually about 40 to 45 individual, competitive, AAU, traveling teams, USSSA traveling teams, I should say. And each of them comes in, we give them a ping pong ball, or they get to pick a ping pong ball, and that's their number they get for their pick. So we start with 1, and if we go to 45, we go 1 to 45, and then 45 to 1. You get to pick one field, one time slot, one day, and then wait till your pick's coming, and then you get to pick it again. So yeah, so you might not get the same Wednesday every single week, each month. You might have a Wednesday, you might have a Tuesday, you might have a Thursday. It all depends on what people pick. So
What do you
It's-
consider that season? What, from date to date? What are your date? What's your?
the season is from pretty much April till, for the renting, is pretty much April till the end of June. And then it kind of kicks in hard in July because NLCBS kind of stops for a little while until they do
Tournament?
until they do their fall ball. So we have a little break there with NLCBS. So then those fields are, the Penn Meadow fields, we rent a ton, July, some of August, once NLCBS starts their fall season, then that kind of slows down a little bit, yeah. But Penn Meadows gets hit pretty hard come July. So yeah, so it's pretty much my rent them from April to the end of June, and then it kind of starts over again July through almost November 1st now. So and then we have tournaments pretty much every single weekend.
When they do the parking at Penn Meadows for those games, because it's crazy.
Oh, it's
I mean, they
crazy.
park way over.
They park everywhere.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But do they damage the grass?
Sometimes,
Okay.
a lot of times spring and fall, especially when it's really wet, and they park out where they're not supposed to, they can leave ruts. Now, just normal traffic, I mean, that bounces back, but when we get ruts,
No, they park all
I know
up
they
by
do.
the
Yeah.
barn. And,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
park
it is what it is.
Bad weather.
Um,
And we've
It's hard
got
not to.
increase that as much as you can, I suppose, yeah.
The city of Coralville's actually just got approved to build 2 more diamonds at their youth sports complex. So I think that was like a $1.8 million project that they're going to do there. So they're going to add 2 more, which was in their plans anyhow. So that will give a couple more fields. They're kind of bigger fields for kind of the older kids. I think one field's pretty much like our Skelly Field, and then the other one's kind of like the Quail one. I think it's going to be, 70-foot bases there, and I think the other one's going to be like a baseball field. So they're adding those as well. So there's 2 new fields coming to the area, but they're also losing 2 fields at where the rec center is because they're building a new rec center as well sometime in the
Brian,
next.
with that lottery, do teams get enough games? Like, is it a thing where everybody gets enough that it's sort of worthwhile? Or I've seen some models where 1 to 45 and maybe only 18 get to pick so that they actually have enough games in the season.
Most of them
Or
are just practices.
They're just
Yeah,
practices.
they go and do
Okay.
tournaments every.
So they're going to
every-
tournaments, so it's
yes.
just a place to
It's
practice.
just a place to
Well,
practice,
gotcha.
yep. And they have them here, they do them in Coralville, Tiffin has something,
So they're
Iowa City,
finding-
yeah,
gotcha.
they find spots.
That makes
And then
sense.
when they also do the concessions, correct? They rent the concessions.
NLCBS does all the concessions out at
Okay.
our ballpark. Yeah, so we used to let other groups come in and do it, but now we just, NLC,
much
because we would,
easier.
yes, because we would move everything that was NLCBS out, and then the groups would come in and use the concession stand and rent it. Well,
They don't care.
Yeah, no,
No.
there's, yeah.
No.
so now it's just NLCBS and it works out great.
That makes
His
So
great. Yeah.
it's way better. Yes, and they're there also if there are something issues or they need toilet paper or usually there's
They know
somebody
the
there that
routine.
knows what's going on. So,
Now, when you're saying NLCBS.
yep. North Liberty Coralville softball, baseball.
Yep.
Because Coralville really doesn't have baseball, softball anymore, so they rent theirs more, and a lot of those kids come here now. So, and we get Solon kids, and we get some Swisher, and some of the Prairie, some of those kids. So, it's quite a number that they have. So,
the busyness.
Yep.
Anything else? I think maybe Guy mentioned and showing the new windows down at the
Oh, yeah.
rec center.
Second
Just
floor
makes it a
window.
little brighter, even though they're of the same size, but they just don't have the.
Probably a lot cleaner is probably what they.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a lot easier to clean.
Although somebody asked, didn't those guys clean them while they were up there?
Yeah, I hope so.
There's a couple that need a good cleaning from the pool side. I noticed the other day. I'm like, okay, we need to get up there and clean those.
I've noticed that at my house when I get my windows cleaned. It's like, whoa, it's really bright in here now.
That's nice.
So that's kind of what I had for my little items of extra stuff going on.
Lot going on. Anything else for the rec center? Move to Shelley's next piece.
Yes, memberships and rental rates. In your packet, what I would suggest is let's first turn to the second page or the back side of that proposal. We'll talk about rental rates first. And on there is just the rental rates between pool rentals, room rentals, park and shelter and field rental rates that we'd like to have start implementing as of April 1st. We did increase the indoor and outdoor pool to cover the staff costs that we kind of discussed a couple meetings back, previously suggested. So those rates are reflective to cover costs of staff.
And that's the prices you're seeing here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so make sure. Yep.
And what's the old price?
The price for the pool rates went up about $20 to $25.
That's what I thought.
What percentage was that?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I get my phone out, I can maybe figure it out, but I'll put a question mark
Sorry.
here. What percentage?
It's probably about 20.
Yeah, about 20%.
About
or so, yeah.
20%.
100%. And again, the biggest thing there was taking the
Covering the
suggestion to
costs.
cover the staff.
Breaking even, at least.
Yeah.
Any other questions on pool rental questions? Moving down to the room rental rates, those were just simplified by the description and capacity to make that a little easier. And those only increased at about $5 to $10, depending on the area. Most of them were $5 increases. But those are what we'd like to do for those specific areas based on capacity and having the differences between resident, non-resident, and nonprofit as listed there.
When was the last time you raised the rates?
Well, the last time we did any of our rates was when we did, change the daily rates was back 2018 when we did our membership and daily rate fees. At that time, I think was the same time we might have did room rental rates.
And then are you looking for us to say, yes, we think this is a great idea, or what are you?
It is something that, along with the daily fees, I had to take to council to get approved. I don't know at this point yet if these need to go to council approval. Ryan, city administrator, was going to check to see if that could be changed where we just annually review them and make that
Because
on a
these seem
staff level.
these seem incredibly affordable. I mean,
Yeah.
as a grandmother who's rented out Dive Ventures, the Fun Zone, the whatever that or the trampoline park is for parties. I mean,
The gym rates,
Yeah.
I think, are extremely
low.
reasonable.
Yeah.
And again, they're reasonable, but our programs come first, so
Yeah, there's not a lot of
Yeah,
time.
there's not a lot
available.
of
Yeah,
it.
not a lot available.
so
And the gymnasiums are pretty close to what everybody around us kind of charges.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even the Palestra, they might actually be $10 more, for them. So it's not,
Okay.
Have you seen any competition with just the?
they try to start some leagues and do things like that,
Okay.
that basically compete with us and then referees and all that good stuff.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of that. I don't know how much they've got off the ground in those things because we've kind of had them for a while. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I know pickleballers play
yeah.
both at our facility and there as well. But again, it all depends on what they have programmed or.
Yeah, but
what they have
pickleball, you
rented
can play
out.
that 8, 9, 10 times a day, no problem. I mean, they're rabid.
What is, I should know this, but what is the campsite? And I'm just trying to picture 49 toddlers in any
That-
space. Is that
Kids
play?
campsite is that play
Okay.
area right when you come into the front south doors.
That first part?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, that's normally open to everybody during regular business hours, so it is a limited time
That you could rent.
could possibly rent that out.
Okay.
So the
And talking
campsite
about
is-
that, we actually, the Jeep is back. The
what-
Jeep is back. The Jeep is back.
Important.
So-
I
And
wonder
be
if kids
been
love it.
refurbished, so, and kids are loving it, so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Good, yeah. So,
And that was one expensive.
that was an expensive refurbish, yes, yes.
I saw them trying to drive it in there.
Yeah,
If they're walking there.
yeah, so that is back in the facility.
That's good to
so,
know.
And to let you know, there are kids fighting for the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The good old steering wheel, yes.
Do the rooms include access to tables and chairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're working on trying to get new tables and chairs in the facility. That's,
Do you have the same ones from when we opened?
well,
No,
no,
no, but they're the folded ones. We're trying to go more of the ones that the library kind of have where they're tippable.
yep.
So they can
with
go
wheels.
up
Yeah. So
and
they
with
flat-
wheels,
yeah,
so you can
yeah.
move around a lot easier instead of
Yeah.
lifting and folding.
They're not the ones that, when you were there, that they were heavy as
Yes,
heck.
I
and-
remember those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those were heavy banquet tables.
They were
Yeah.
really heavy. Yeah, they're not that anymore, but yeah,
Okay.
now we're looking at something even easier that we can roll around and put together kind of like the library has, so.
Now, question came to mind when you said, like, the campsite is not doing normal business hours. Who's there to oversee that if it's a time when you're not open?
Any time that we rent, then we'd at least have one
You'd
staff
have
person
a
within the
staff
facility.
person there.
And normally there's pool parties or birthday parties or, you know, we're not open for the public, but they have parties and
Okay.
stuff all the time, so.
So this campsite is $30 per hour?
Yeah.
Okay. And if people rent the campsite, do they also need, usually they have food for the party. Do they set tables?
They would have to get a room
Or
to-
usually reserve a room? Okay.
Normally they run back and forth, kind of like they do for a pool party.
Pool party, yeah.
They do the same thing for the pool party. They'll
The
rent a
pool party,
room.
They also reserve.
Yeah, they'll rent a room and then the kids will be running back and forth and
And they'll be running.
birthday
Yeah.
cake and all that.
Chaos.
Yeah. Yep.
It's I never realized, not there during business hours, but what goes on. So I guess that's good.
Moving on to the park shelter field rentals. Those did not change from what we're currently offering. So, but I just had listed those as part of our rental rates.
And I kind of want to bring some up there too that kind of said some. So the park shelters this summer, we're going to put everything online and people are going to be able to sign up online and reserve them on our website.
That's good.
So there'll be a link. You can go to the City of North Liberty website. They'll click a button and it'll go to our website. They'll pick the times they want. They'll sign in. You know, either if they have an account, if they don't have an account, they'll create one. They'll pay for it right then and there, and it'll block it off as they go. So that's something we're going to try this year with the shelters. So that's something new. We haven't done that before, but
So Brian, would that same way, this way we had checked to see if there's a rental?
yep.
Okay.
Will it have the name of the person?
No.
Or will it just be
Nope,
blocked
it'll just
off?
Be, yeah,
Okay.
it'll just be blocked off. So if you went in and reserved, 3-hour time or blocks,
Right.
it'll say that you can't have those and you can pick the next 3 hours or whatever. So
So is it marked at the shelter house in any way? Is there
right now, no.
no scanning code or something to?
So if I rented like the shelter that's over by Penn Meadows during one of the times and it had all the things and there was other people there, what happens then?
You mean like the ball diamond ones?
Yeah.
So they would all be blocked off because I block them off when there's a baseball tournament. So you
Okay.
can't.
So you
yeah.
can't, so it can't be a territorial issue.
So the ones that are blocked off when we have tournaments are the one, we call it the North Shelter. It's the one that's by,
concession.
which field is that?
Field there.
Yeah, it's right behind the field there. That one is blocked off, and then the 2 concession stands are blocked off. So whenever I rent all 8 fields, I block those 3 off as well, so nobody can use those. You can use the other ones that are in the middle.
They're by the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. So you could use those, but you're kind of, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there.
Yeah.
But,
Bring
yeah.
your chain.
So yeah, you'll be able to do those. You'll be able to do those, but anything by the
911, there's a fight at the shelter.
And I would probably recommend, with us going this way is, for the individuals to at least print out the rental thing and have it in their possession. So if you are questioned by other public people
Right.
or by anyone, that you can pull that out and say, yes, I've made a reservation.
And that'll all be on their account. So they could pull up their account on RecDesk too and show it, or a receipt on their phone, like, hey, if you're
reserved
there, I've got this reserved from.
But it's kind of cool because you could rent the gazebo up by Heinz Ice
Yep.
Cream, right?
Yep.
Have a party and then go over to Heinz. and,
Good. Yep.
It could be really
I do think might be some value though in having some signage, and maybe it's a QR code with the link like on the website, especially if it's a changeover from what it's been before, of just reserve here and maybe a QR code, that could be something that would be easy to do, that people that know how to do it would be able to then know that, oh, this is,
It's just where,
now it's,
Guy and I would have to talk
Right.
about where to put that at, and
Right,
we could just put it on a pole, or if we
Each
could.
shelter you could put.
well, that's what I mean, if you had a little
plastic shield
thing that was, you could put the website on there and then the QR code and, reserve me here or whatever.
Yep.
On everything you.
cool. It seems really low though, Shelley, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll continue to every year we'll
Yeah.
go into evaluation time and figure out how we're sitting amongst other communities.
Yeah.
How we're sitting budget-wise. If we need to bump them up, then hopefully we'll have an easier process moving forward.
I do think it's great because I think for people who, it's a great way for them to reserve something that's affordable. So,
Yep.
I think probably, you've got the rental fees here, that probably we get in the minutes that we're consensus of supporting that. So you
Yeah.
have that
Yes.
support going with you. So
Yeah.
Any objection to consensus?
no,
Okay.
great job.
Or that as consensus for supporting that proposal.
And the hardest part with like the shelters is when there's back-to-back rentals, and people might leave all their
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
stuff,
yeah.
and then
Oh, yeah.
the next people are like, oh, we got to pick this up. So they do call the rec center, and they're like, hey, they're supposed to clean this up, and they didn't. So there's a little bit of that too, and I don't exactly know how to get around that without having
Cleanup fee. Cleanup fee.
staff
Yeah,
member
well,
there.
Cleanup fee. If you leave your stuff, it's an
Yeah,
automatic
you leave your
30
stuff,
bucks.
we're going to charge you a
Yeah.
A good idea.
yeah, just like an Airbnb. If you went to an Airbnb and you leave, no, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
There's a
Yep.
fee that
Ding
you
your
sign
card
your
if you
little
don't.
thing.
Yep.
And, I mean, people need to learn. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, you guys.
Yep. But we have had that as well. That's been something that somebody just didn't clean up afterwards or whatever. So
We'll add that to our consensus.
A couple times a year, it seems like,
Idea.
back to back and birthday parties or something. and it's-
Yeah, recording information of the credit card.
Do you allow
Yeah,
payment?
yeah.
Though you allow payment other than credit card, that'd be the catch.
do we allow other? We do.
If someone's paying by, I don't know if people do checks, but check or
Usually,
cash
yeah.
or
What's that?
What's a check?
or whatever, crypto, to be able to assess that fee if you needed to. Obviously,
Yeah.
you'd have to have that credit card
Yeah,
on file.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I went to go somewhere the other day. I'm not even going to mention where. And I asked him, I didn't have any cash. I go, could I write a check? And the guy looks at me like, and he's like 22, and he goes, I don't
You
think
should
so.
have. You should have asked him to write it out and see if he could actually write it
Yeah,
out.
right?
But that moment, I
In
felt like I
cursive,
was
right?
That'd be in cursive.
I
Yes.
almost said, Sonny?
Yep. Can you write this for me, please? You have no idea.
Check and they give it back to you.
I just about died.
Let's move right along, shall we?
All right, moving on. Back to the front side of the page then. We'll talk about memberships. Like I mentioned, we made the change in the daily fees actually last May
Yep.
to that, paying either $6 to go to the pool or $6 to use the rec side. At that time, we didn't do anything with the memberships. We just wanted to kind of see how that would change or affect anything. In the meantime, staff had begun working on some changes, and these are still, I would say, a fluid document. We began with just making some initial description changes and some minor changes in pricing by what you see here. We're going from our black and gold and silver, kind of our color
Yeah.
membership description to actually what area of the facility they're using. Because everybody gets like the facility membership right now that we have, everybody thinks it's for the entire facility. Well, no, the facility one is just for the gyms, but they don't realize that. So we're trying to just simplify it a little bit. So this is what we're starting with. And again, it's just, there's some changes we're going to work on. We need to talk with city administration about some other bigger changes of, can we combine revenue, or do we have to keep it separate between the two budgets? Pool fees, we have to pay sales tax on pool fees, but we don't on other fees. So how do we do we need to keep it separated, or do we not? So that's some of the bigger things that before we make any changes drastically of going to one membership or something like that, I need to find out more answers from City Hall. So again, going just from our basic small descriptive changes is what you see here if we had to keep everything kind of as is for now. But I am going to look at if we can make some of the bigger changes, but I don't know. I don't have answers for you there.
So fluid is the key word. Fluid.
And as staff has discussed, we were trying to push this to coincide with the April 1st with rentals and before pool season and all that, just to make it simplified. I don't know if we're going to make that time frame, or do we wait? If we can make some of the bigger changes as it affects budget, then they might want to only do that come July 1st with a new fiscal year. So there's a lot of questions yet, but that's kind of the direction we're going into right now, is just making these minor descriptive changes, and those fees, those are minor fee changes that are listed there.
I hear you. So like the first category there, the rec and pool areas might be the one where there's this question about, because there's sales tax on the pool.
Well, we currently already do it. We already have.
Currently, right now, with the black and gold package, which would be that rec and pool, those funds that are collected are split 50-50.
Okay.
So any revenue that goes into that GL account is split. 50 goes to rec, 50 goes to pool.
Okay.
Where all the fitness ones go strictly rec department. All the pool memberships go strictly to the pool budget. Gymnasium and track, that all goes to the rec budget as well.
I mean, if you've ever, the University of Iowa has their thing. I mean, there's not this many choices. You know what I'm saying? It's this, and this, and here's what you get. That's kind of where we're kind of trying to go and see if we can do it. And like she said, we have to figure out if we can do it and how we can do it. I've looked into a lot of different cities that, do different things and have pools and this and that, and they seem to do it. But how do they do it? I don't know what the sales tax and all that stuff. I don't know, how we do that part. But so the rec and pool, which is currently black and gold, is already getting a split of 50, and that's all those that are under that
Well, I like
monthly
the
or annual.
descriptors on here.
You like the descriptors?
I like the descriptors.
Okay.
I don't know, as far as people, if I've visited with, have been down at the desk and then they're upstairs walking around with their sheet, I've had questions, what, and I think, this is pretty straightforward about what you're paying for.
Yeah. But there's about 60 some different memberships right here. And that's the part where part-time staff training them, what is what, full-time staff figuring out what it is, members trying to figure out which one you want to do. There's just a lot of options. So that's something we've discussed as staff, and actually just discussed the other day, kind of all together, like, how can we make this simpler for everyone,
Well, and the monitoring, remembering the old days of having worked there, of if someone just has track and then you have to police them so they're not on a piece of equipment, and that's tough on your
right
staff.
now, if they have a track pass and they have a pool pass, well, in the system, when you swipe, a screen comes up and someone physically has to select one of them for that screen to go away. And everybody else after that are trying to get their card to go. Well, it's not going to go till somebody clicks that. So that's another thing that people, because the track is free for residents. So if you have a track pass, then you have a pool pass, you know, so it's a work in progress, but we're trying to make
Trying
it,
to simplify
we're
it.
trying to make it a lot easier.
But
Are there people that actually just come there for the track?
Yes,
Yeah.
There is.
yes,
That's what I do.
a lot.
And they're not willing to pay like the membership, or that's what
Well,
they go there to.
the city kind of wants the town people to be free. Now, non-residents pay, but they still come. They
Okay.
come all winter,
Huh.
all winter. It's crazy how many people use the track, and it's only 3 lanes.
Well,
I mean, we
that's
could probably
great.
have
I
5
mean, it's
lanes.
great that they use it all the time.
Yes, they use it all the time. So that's why they did a fee kind of for the non-residents, because their taxes weren't really involved in it, and then residents get it free just because we had so many people just wanting to use the track, and it's not always nice outside like yesterday, so they can come and walk inside, and so.
And then we've had an uptick of just what we call the facility pass, which is the gymnasiums, because of the pickleballers. That's all they want is
Pickleball.
that. They don't want pool, they don't want
Pickleball.
weight and exercise area. And so, again, if we
crazy.
try and go down to one, it's going to be
Yeah.
disruptive to some. And again, that's what we're trying to work through is how can we combine if we can, or
And we've also talked about the fees going down as well, so that would make you go, oh, well, maybe I need a family membership, and it's that easy, you're done. You know, you don't have to have a pool pass and a summer pool pass, and you don't have to worry about that. I get a pass, and it covers everything, and it covers the whole summer, and so we're still kicking this around, so.
Yeah, just a thought that I had. So the organization is good. It's helpful. One thing I was thinking is I was just looking at the numbers on here and just thinking about, if I'm just reading this for the first time and looking at it, and think less is more, right? So the discounted youth and seniors column, like on monthly, it's $5 off basically all across the board, pretty much, right? And then annual, it's $30 off from the regular rate for a single member. So you could potentially eliminate both those lines by just putting like single member in parentheses, youth and adult, $5 discount. I'm just thinking about like if you had less, do you follow what I'm saying? Less text, you could eliminate 2 lines and have to make it less confusing. I think this is good. It is better than it was because the descriptors are good, as Rich said. I think that's helpful. Maybe you could look at something like that if you could eliminate just those 2 lines. Yeah, and then as Brian, like you're saying, man, it'd be really cool if it was just like
Yeah, then,
A or B.
yep,
Do you want a pool or not?
Yeah.
Right, the kind of thing, and that would be the very easiest. And that's pretty much what, like you said, Rec Services does.
yes, and that's what a lot of the other,
know.
a lot of towns that smaller, bigger, whatever.
Yeah.
They do the same thing, and
Right.
some have indoor pools, some have outdoor pools, some don't have any pools.
Yep.
So those are the things we're kind of kicking around to see and trying to just make it simpler for pretty much everybody, staff and everybody, because it is confusing, especially a new person coming on as staff and you're a part-time staff member, you work 10 hours a week. You got to remember that each time, and then things change and, so.
And I have another idea of persuading people to get more membership. So right now the sequence is from cheaper option to more expensive option. If we flip them around, so right now as we read more, it's getting more expensive, like people getting more stressful. But if we do the most expensive one on top, and as you read more lines, it's getting cheaper, and
Well, what you
they will
save.
choose one, make one choice, right?
Make
That's
a
what-
little
yeah.
note by that,
Yeah, like
saves you
it's a little bit
50%.
psychology.
I agree.
I like
The
it,
annual
yeah.
savings is really good too. Saves you X
Right.
percent or X dollar figure. Yep.
But on the annual, they have to pay that all up front, correct?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Well-
that's where people are gonna have the problem.
So maybe.
And
I
if
think you
want-
can do
if
monthly.
we
So
want
maybe.
to
Talk about
I
that.
mean,
discontinue-
there is a way to do an auto
Okay.
that we've talked about,
I'm gonna say.
and we haven't done any of it yet, but because we kind of haven't got this all figured out yet. So there is that option that an automatic payment could come out
Every month,
every month.
yeah. And I
Because
think
people aren't going to go and pay.
No way.
Yeah,
We're subscription-based society these days.
Yeah. So I would, like, one thing, I would make a recommendation to you guys to do that. Get whatever you have to do to implement that so that a family, because a young family cannot afford to cough up $1,080 like that. They just can't.
Yep.
they call their mother.
Well, and if you do that, then you can potentially eliminate the monthly rates completely, and just say that you get, it's a month to month deal, and then have that. You gotta
$90 a month, and you get all of it.
Yeah, and then you have a certain amount of time before you can cancel, just like everything else, and then you don't get hit for the next month. You just eliminate the monthly charge altogether and just say this is your membership fee.
But they kind of get a deal if they do it annually. They get a deal.
Well, but you can offer them the deal, I think, because you're locking them in at that point, and you know how it goes with subscriptions. Once it's auto paid,
Yeah.
it's going to get you regardless if you go or not, right? So I think that there's
Because we've discussed that too. Like if it doesn't go through, well, their membership's not going to work either.
Exactly
So when they
right.
come and swipe,
Yep.
they're going to hear a noise that it's probably not going to be nice to them. So
Yeah.
But I also think that's where the community center is a plus, that they're willing to help you figure out how to make that work
Yeah.
instead of,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, even our staff helps you if you're somebody you're paying daily, and it's like, hey, you've been here 4 times this week. You
Yeah.
might want to just get the monthly. We do that all the time. Or kids bring in
Yeah.
a $20 bill and pay daily, and it's like, for $5 you can be
Yeah.
here for the whole month, and you've just done this 3 times this week.
Yeah.
So staff does try to help with that stuff as well to let people know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're working to make this a lot simpler than it currently is.
And then you guys could get an app like everybody else. Just do your app.
Well, yeah, I mean, the annual rate for a single member, I mean, it's half.
Yeah, it's,
It's $25 a month instead of $50. So,
When Shannon worked there, we used to make the cards that
oh yeah,
everybody had.
God.
I remember
laminator, trim
the
'em.
laminator.
Yeah, they get all dog-eared and
They'd get stuck in the
out
machine.
of order.
and
And yes.
You're just like, oh, why am I up here?
Pioneers.
Especially pool season time was a oh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the point, you want the year membership, but so you can pay it pay it monthly. I think that is a big,
yeah.
good point to make. If there's some way we can offer that.
And we can do that.
Well, and maybe what it is if it's 50 for the monthly and it's 25 for the annual rate, find an in-between number that works. Because you're probably going to have some costs for payment processing. I don't know what that's going to cost per. So maybe it's $30 a month. And then that helps offset your processing fee of that auto.
And right now, like for the credit card stuff, we eat all the fees. So you know how you go to an eating place now and they charge you 3% more because you're paying with your
Everybody's
card.
passing now, yeah.
So that's something down the road, if we ever wanted to, we could click a little button
You're right, you can write the check out.
and they would have to pay it. But right now,
so
we
you pay 3% on top of this.
we cover all the
Wow.
fees. Yep, which is about 30,000 a year.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Because I was,
But we're covering that right now. Now, we could add that on there and it would be, you would sign up for something online and it's going to say there's going to be a fee of
3% or 2%.
$3.20, depending on what it
Yeah.
is. Or this might be 75 cents because you got, a swim lesson or whatever that percentage is. So but currently we don't do that. We just take it, and we've been doing that for a long time. And, that's one of those things. If budget-wise, if anything was ever changed, we just say, well, we're not doing that anymore. And, but we haven't had to do that. And
I mean,
No.
to me, that's like, nobody lets you get away with it anymore.
yeah.
That's why I wanted to write a check.
There you go. You can write a check. You can write a check. That'll save everybody.
There you go.
and so if somebody they wanted a pool pass for their child, and they came in and you do 3 months, say I want to do, you just pay 3 months, you pay 3 months at a time.
We
can.
get that a lot during the summer.
And so that'll cover pretty,
We just had a guy today play 3 months for his membership upstairs.
okay, yeah, so that's.
But is there, so,
I still think you could do that though, even if you had the annual
Yeah.
option.
but
still
is that
offer-
because he couldn't afford it?
No,
or
he just
because
wanted to pay.
He just wanted
he
it
just
for
wanted to have 3
months?
months, so he didn't have to worry about it anymore.
Probably till the weather got nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yep.
Yep.
I could see a lot of families just wanting that
Yeah.
that pool time,
Oh, yeah.
But then looking at it, then they can think, oh, well, if I pay the year round, we can go all the time,
And we've also talked about punch passes and stuff. So people that are coming here once in a while, it's all on the card. You swipe the card just like you do a membership, and it takes a punch off. When Shannon worked,
remember the literal-
we had a hole puncher,
Yeah.
and we would find your card,
Oh, yeah.
and we'd pull it out, and we go chit and put it back, and then some staff can't spell very
Use the
well, and they
Dewey
put it in the
Decimal
wrong
System.
spot.
Or know where to punch.
Where to punch,
They're
yeah.
like,
I think that would
Yeah.
answer the question of people have had, I think, last grandkids coming for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Or something.
yep.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
you've
good
had that.
point.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yep.
point.
What can I do?
So we've talked about a lot of things, and we've listened to kind of you guys saying stuff too, and trying to figure out the best way, the easiest way,
Yeah.
how other people are doing it. I mean, we aren't the only place in the world that's got this type of facility or a facility at all. So
I will
know,
tell you this, though. I think you guys should charge the 3%. Whatever that's costing you, I think that is, everybody's doing it.
Well, or you could build it into the price.
build it into the price.
And it's just build it in the price.
I don't
Yeah.
see why that.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't be absorbing that.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is you might have, if you want to try to drive this, you could maybe offer, I'm thinking back to what you're saying about families, maybe if you have an annual membership, there's a discount on the pool rental. Because you got kids and doing parties, maybe you get 10% off of that or something. As another little incentive of being a member, some perks.
we've also talked about, you get an annual membership and you might get 3 guest passes or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
something
Yep.
like that. So we've talked about that as well. So we've talked about a lot of stuff.
There you go.
If you build the 3% into the price, what if people come to pay cash?
It's only on credit cards.
Oh, you only accept.
Only on credit cards. So we'll take your check and it won't cost you,
Yep.
and we take your
No, her
cash.
point is if you build it into the price, then somebody who comes in and pays cash,
Oh,
they're
well,
still
yeah.
paying
I see what you're
that.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
what-
you keep the
yeah.
current price, but if people pay by credit card, then you need
Yes.
to charge 3%.
Yep. So if it was $30 and there was a 3% charge, there'd be a little bit extra charge on there, and it'd cost you more than it does you for paying with the
Right.
check. Yep. That's how the system would do it. So
Yeah.
even online,
Oh,
it's
I love
gonna
the checkbook.
everything online would be the credit cards,
Right.
and it would charge you that percentage,
Right.
and it would tell you that. It's not just gonna. It'll tell you there's a fee. So
So go back to your summary of where this is headed. Shelley, where do you?
Well, again, there's some big things as far as
Ifs.
can we make those
Ifs.
budget changes and stuff. So if we can't do it, then this is pretty much probably what we'll go with for now. Because we don't know really, unless the other thought was, the only thing I can see is gymnasium and track being lumped together if council would approve charging residents for the track use versus free, because that's the only part that's free right now. But that's been a struggle in the past. So right now, if we can't do anything budget-wise, I'd probably go as is, what's proposed here as far as rights, and then we'll continue to work on all the other increases and find out ways to, again, make it even more simpler if possible, or work in the credit card online option for annuals, or however, try and fine tune it as much as we can. But right now I gotta sit down with administration and see if the budget things needs to be separate or what.
Any other questions, suggestions?
Let us know how we can help.
Yeah. Does it kind of look good in the direction we're going? Any other questions,
No, you guys are doing a
comments,
great job.
concerns?
I can't imagine.
Good movement.
Thanks for the feedback tonight, and we'll take that back as well.
and our staff has a lot of feedback too. So they're chirping in too on what.
Yeah.
Because they're up there all day. Me and
Right.
Shelley, we're in the offices and we're up there once in a while, but they're up there all day and they get all the questions and concerns. So it's it's kind of like asking them, what's going to make it easier for you guys, and what's it going to make it easier for the part-time staff?
Right, and what the consumer says
Yes.
is there,
Yeah.
oh, that's a lot.
Yeah,
or-
and we're giving them the same answer today as the person tomorrow is giving them the same answer, which might not be happening with the choices and people not working as much as the others. So.
I'm down there on a regular basis, and I almost every day, there's a couple or an individual with their sheet walking around upstairs,
Doing their homework.
doing their homework.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll ask somebody,
Yeah.
about things, And it's interesting when you overhear people talk to people about how positive the people are, telling them, it's not negative, yada, yada, yada. It's always, this is great, this is good, like this, like that.
And we want to make it a easy, come in here, do your thing, buy a pass, do a daily fee, and go on your way. We don't want it to be
Yeah.
cumbersome to where they just are confused. Even if an older person, they're just confused on what the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
We just want it to be easy and easy for them to understand.
And I do
So,
appreciate that the city has a thought that there's something free. Somebody could come in there and
I
participate there, and it's
Yeah, I
free.
agree.
I love that that is their value.
I think that's a good, we offer,
I agree.
offer that. And a lot of that is senior citizens use
Yeah.
the walking track, but it's a variety of people, but I think that's good. That's good that is free. It's a safety thing. It's a health, staying healthy and safety.
And socialization. It's wonderful. Yeah.
And people walking together and socializing, everything. So I think you have consensus, you have our support for moving forward with that, and it's good to hear that there's been a lot of staff dialogue.
but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not the only place that goes through this, I'm sure, But, and I
This
know
is kind of where we started, with however many years ago, and we've kind of tweaked it a little bit on the years, but we're a lot bigger now, and there's a lot more questions and a lot more people and a lot more going on, and
I keep hearing these numbers, how many are in this and how many are in that. And when you say, what is it, 15,000 people have a membership or a card down there of our population,
and we don't, it's not like we have a membership person just out there trying to get memberships like a Y or something. It's just, they're just coming in. So, that's something too, that maybe in the future, that's somewhere we could push it, a little more like, hey, come to the rec center, here's the prices. And
Yeah, I guess, do we have like a flyer to put out at these housing developments? And
So a 30-day challenge and get 5% for next month. Something like that.
Have we ever been approached by an apartment complex to say they wanted to team up and offer that as a part of their building or anything? Have you ever been approached by any?
Actually, the new
Emory?
off of Jones, actually, their pool at that facility, their clubhouse wasn't ready, and so that developer or owner, I don't know who exactly, paid for some of their tenants' passes to our facility. It wasn't a partnership, it was
it's
just they came in and paid for
Yeah.
them. But I thought that was kind of unique.
Was that the Vintage off of Jones?
Emery
Emery
Jones.
Point?
Yeah.
Emery.
The new ones, right by Pizza Ranch and Bulldogs and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
Emory,
Yeah.
That's why, as more apartment type are being built, as to what.
we could also, another thing we could do is we could get businesses to come.
Yeah.
And for a certain amount, you get a discount for whatever it is.
Their employees, yeah.
That's something we could do down the road once we figure out all this.
Yeah.
We could figure that out as well, and then go to have businesses and say, hey, you could come here and here's how much it would be off for your employees or whatever to come and use the facility. So
Those things.
I've done that before in smaller towns than this, where you do that with a pool pass or whatever you have in your town, that you just give them a discount. Because they'll pay for part of it, and then they get a discount.
Right.
Their people get a discount because they've covered X amount of money. So,
Brand's our marketing person here now.
there you go.
Well, kind of like how we're doing silver sneakers, and then we're doing another. What's the other one?
Oh yeah,
coming on board?
we're gonna try to do another something like Silver Sneakers, but United Healthcare kind of does it. It's Renew Active. So it's very similar to Silver Sneakers, but it's held by another insurance company, and we get a lot of questions about that. So they can come use the facility, and then they reimburse. They give us X amount of money per visit is what they do, up to a certain amount.
Yeah.
So it could be people that never come to our facility ever, and now they're coming there because it, doesn't cost them anything, and the insurance company sends us, $20 a time or $5 a time or whatever it is they send us. So, but yeah, we're gonna add that
to
too.
serve.
We're trying.
And community, that's what it's all about, building community and serving the community. Anything else? I think we've had some good reports tonight. Now we've got some information coming up here. That big conference coming up.
Yes, Iowa Park and Rec Association Spring Conference is going to be hosted by us, Corville, and Iowa City. And so that's coming up on March 24th through the 27th. So It includes education sessions, speakers, tours, and socials, so it's just.
About how
our-
many people will that be bringing to town? Any idea?
Oh, any idea, roughly?
No, probably,
Couple hundred?
yeah, a couple hundred.
100, probably?
At least 100 people, bring them in the community.
One
Joe?
of the tours is going to be the Centennial Center.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, one of the tours offered is Centennial.
Get to show off a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, of course.
And one of the education sessions is going to be like NLCBS doing sponsorships or talking about doing sponsorships and trying to get businesses to buy into, local baseball, softball type things, or even any other sport or whatever. So
Ashley's put one on
yeah,
too.
Ashley is.
Our aquatic supervisor, she's doing one, so.
Probably bring some
Lots of
people
things.
that have never been to North Liberty before.
Yeah.
Heard about us, but now they're going to see us in person. Anything else? Have we heard any more about dog park treats or anything? The group?
No.
No more input from there. Yeah.
I didn't
I
say
did
a
mention
word.
the dog
It
park.
was you. I want it to
I
be
know.
known right here.
Yeah, he mentioned it with the dirt going on.
No, okay, there you go.
So
The dog
gotta-
park's been pretty lonely lately.
That's,
Yeah, not very many people up there.
we have new cameras out there.
When,
And how's that going?
Good. Yeah.
I mean, are you seeing what you want to see or?
Well, it's cell based, so it's right now we're just pulling photos, but we do have the ability to pull video if we need to.
things are going well. We don't have anybody here with us tonight. Any old business to bring up? Not that word. Well, the next meeting is scheduled for March the 6th because we're in our February month, so it's the same date in March. So, do I hear a motion?
I motion we adjourn.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Any objection? Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Awesome.